Bernie Sanders the other day put out this tweet that says, it's time for us to move to a 32-hour work week with no loss in pay. So basically he's saying, the work week currently 40 hours, 5 days a week. He's saying we need to change to a 4-day work week with no loss in pay. Exact same amount of money you take home. We can reduce the stress level in our country and allow Americans to enjoy a better quality of life. So there's a take from Bernie Sanders. Now, here's my thing, okay? Yes, on one hand, it would probably be nice if we could spend less time slaving away for corporations and spend more time with family and all that stuff. Yeah. Would everyone like a 4-day work week? Absolutely. But how is that supposed to work? How is that supposed to work? And you guys know me. Do I worship the free market like a total libertarian? No. If you can come in and reasonably convince me that doing something like regulating big tech or trying to protect industry or trying to protect families would be good for the country, for instance, I'm absolutely supportive. I'm absolutely all for it. But a lot of these leftist ideas just don't make a single lick of sense. We need to forgive all student debt. How? How do you do that? Where? How does that work? You got millions of dollars in debt, you just cancel it all? What? But especially on this one, I would say this is even more ridiculous. How Bernie Sanders, can you do this? How does this work? How can you just take a day off of everyone's work week and expect nothing to change? And especially, that's the kicker, right? Expect everyone to take home the same amount of money. Because first of all, let's consider the implications of that on the consumer market, right? On the production of goods. So you think about efficiency, you think about the goods in the market, the flow of those goods, all that stuff, right? Sure, Jimmy, you as one person, if you take a day off of work, nobody really notices. But you understand this, I think you guys get this. When an entire nation takes one workday off, what does that do to the whole economy as a whole? What does that do to the supply chain? What does that do to the availability of goods and services? What does that do to the prices of those goods and services, right? We understand that totally would screw up the whole economy. Again, one person taking a 4-day work week, no problem. One business saying we're only going to make our employees work 4 days. Again, no problem. But again, I think we can kind of use common sense to imagine what the effects of this would be if an entire nation just decides we're going to take a whole day off of work week. Yeah. That means you're going to have empty shelves. That means you're going to have inflation. You're just going to have all sorts of problems out there, right? And that's just on the consumer side. Think about the business side. And it's just, again, I don't even necessarily worship the free market, but just the financial illiteracy of people like Bernie Sanders, where you're going to get the money for this? Where are the businesses specifically going to get the money for this, right? Because, you can say, oh, well, maybe the business can afford to pay them $1 more an hour or something. Yeah, you're already putting a lot of burden just to raise the minimum wage. But at least if you raise the minimum wage, again, I don't believe that should be a blanket thing to raise the minimum wage. But still, at least if you raise the wage, at least you can still say, okay, but you're still working this amount of hour and in exchange all this stuff. Do you realize financially how ridiculous this is? You're saying, you're telling every business out there, corporation, small business, whatever it is, hey, the current money you pay to your employees, you need to take an entire day, an entire whole work day's worth of work off of their salary and pay them the same amount. How is that supposed to? That is an insane amount of money. What business, big or small out there, has the money for that, right? Because I can tell you this, small businesses, your average mom and pop restaurant, there's no way they have the money to tell all of their waiters, hey, you're going to work one less day and make the same amount of money. You just pull, where are you supposed to find the funds as a business to actually pay your workers that much? That doesn't make sense. No business has the money for this. And then you might even say, oh, well, what about the corporations? Those big and greedy corporations, Amazon, all this stuff. And yeah, again, I don't worship corporations, okay? They are big and greedy. But you still need to understand, corporate profit margins are incredibly slim. They make a lot of money, right? They produce billions, trillions of dollars a year. But in percentage of their costs versus their revenues, it's a pretty slim profit margin, right? Your average corporate profit margin is probably 3 to 13%, And so when you compare that with how big the corporations are, that's a lot of money. But still understand, your average corporate profit margin is not that thick. It's not like there's this huge amount of surplus of money waiting around, right? And again, you might say, but look at this billion-dollar profit. Sure. But also understand, if you're, for instance, a corporation as big as Amazon, you're not just paying a few workers. You're not just giving out free money to a few workers. You're talking about thousands and thousands of workers across the country that you're all going to have to do this for. Even your big corporations out there, even your big, the 1%, even the 1%, right? Nobody's going to have the money for this. It doesn't make sense. It's a stupid idea. Like, there's no action. And again, you know, I would like to see some economists try to study if this would be possible. I did not do research. I'm just using my common sense here, okay? I'm just using a little bit of intuition from, you know, what I know basically about money and supply and demand. Anyone explain to me how that makes any sense? How are you going to take a whole day off the work week and just keep, where are you going to get this money from? But that kind of does go to show you, like, the thought of Bernie Sanders. And, you know, as much as these people say, I relate to the common worker, and, you know, the Republicans don't know what it's like to be a common man. No, you actually don't. Because if you did, you would understand that your average mom and pop restaurant owner, they don't have the money just lying around from their, you know, business profits to just say, okay, waiters, you're going to take a whole day off and we're going to give you the same amount of money. Right? Like, if you actually understood people and how they have to manage their finances, Mr. Socialist, if you actually were able to relate to your average person, you'd understand why this idea doesn't actually make any financial sense, which it doesn't. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's idiotic. But anyway, just wanted to respond to that. I saw that today from Bernie Sanders. Again, it's time for us to move to a 32-hour work week with no loss in pay. I'd like the explanation. You know, Bernie, I'd like you to explain. I'd like to actually explain how that is supposed to work. It's just a stupid idea. And again, I don't say that from the perspective of being a total, you know, FEE, Reason TV, oh, free market above all. Okay, I'm not even that. That's not even where I stand. But where I do stand is most left-wing ideas, pretty much all of them basically, on these economic issues, they just don't make any sense. And this is the prime example of it. How? Logistically, how do you make that happen? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Hey guys, Vince Dao here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dao Show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dao Show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a great show. Many are saying this. So leave a like, check out our other clips, and be sure to check out the show. Yeah. God bless.